This how to build is on Molten Freddy from Five Nights at Freddy's 6. Hello everyone, this is Knight here, and last video was on Lefty, and now we are finishing off our line of Five Nights at Freddy's 6 characters, and this is Molten Freddy. And boy oh boy does he have one wacko design. But also, I am really proud of how he turned out. I did have one design before this, with the whole wiring piece going on the bottom, but that was just really, it wasn't nearly as good as what this is. I think he is very accurate to the game. Some might say his head is a little bit big, but I think it's nice and detailed. I think I got a lot of good pieces into them. I am proud of them. I hope you guys are too. So, with that said, let's just get right into this. I'm going to continue with what I usually do by going from the bottom up. And you probably saw I was kind of using some sort of a panel trick. I'll show you the rest of that later. But first, we're going to build just kind of a sturdy base. Start off, I'm using this 4x4 sort of weird rocket piece. I think a little bit rare, but very useful. On the bottom, I'm going to take a 1x3 plate. I'm using light gray and mixing it with some dark gray, but you can use black or almost anything because it'll be pretty much covered. Just like that. And then a 2x2 round brick in black. And then center a 1x1 round stud on there. And then a 3x3 radar dish. And then a 2x2 brick. I'm using this round, sort of jagged, zigzaggy textured brick. There. And then put that underneath. This is a 2x2 with bars going all around it. Very useful for what you're trying to do here. You can use it in silver or gray or even black if that's all you got. But you're definitely going to want it to build this. So now I'm going to show you how to build the rest of his sort of wiring underneath. Okay, so this is going to be kind of a weird design for his wiring, but you're definitely going to see how it all pieces together once it's done. Start off, you're going to make 4 of these types of panels, and then you're going to make 4 of these types of panels. So we're going to start off with these types first. So you're going to want to take a 1x2 plate with a bar, preferably in 3 segments, but you could use the other type if you got. Then a 1x2 with a clip on there. And then a 1x2 with a bar on top. And then I'm using a couple of grill pieces, but one going to the left and then the other going to the right. I'm also mix matching a lot of my grays here. I'm recommending that you do the same because it's going to make finding pieces a lot easier. And then take one of these 1x1 with the clip going this way. And take another piece of the same there, and then just a tile right out the top. And make basically 4 of those. You can mix match grays, that's what I did. And I just hit the camera, that's my bad. The only difference is, on one of them, I'm using a rhino plate, and also installing a 1x1 purple for an eye. I'm going to attach a chain here for a little bit extra detail once I'm assembling it all together, but you don't have to do that. You can just basically make them all identical like so. Now for the in-between sort of plates, first I want to start off with a mechanical arm piece that goes like that. Just again mix match grays as you wish, and then take a 1x2 with a bar, then a 1x2 with clip on top, then a 1x2 with 3 segments, and then put a 1x2 with, or 1x2 cheese crater slope. I'm using silver, but you can use gray, dark gray, whatever. And then, once again, you're going to take the grill plates, but instead you're going to put them in the opposite direction. So, 4 of these and 4 of these. It all makes sense when it's pieced together. So now we can take the base that we just built and stick this down. So first, you want to take these and clip them in every other clip and push them all the way down. And if you're like me, you want to take the chain and hook it up. You can put this here, and then put this. This has a jumper plate on it. Stick it like that. And then you have that there. And now you can take the other ones and stick them on like so. These grill plates can be a little bit flimsy when you're piecing this together, but once it's done, I think it actually did turn out really nicely. So you can see it kind of fits like in that in-between spot. It does take a little bit of positioning, but you can definitely get it to be done. I'm gonna put that there. Then take the other one. And then last one goes right there. So then all the panels, kind of just position them, get them lined up. And then if you're like me, you want to add a little bit of extra detail. I'm using this chain, attach that onto the rhino plate, and then it can wrap around and go into that jumper plate right there. Might help if you flip this panel up for a second. Oh man, I can just get this. There we go. Okay, so now we have that whole assembly completed. It's definitely one of the more weird bottom halves of a character I've made, but I definitely think it turned out really nice and detailed. If you wanted, you could add some maybe like 1x1 round white pieces, because he's technically NR'd, just weird, like a little bit weirder, and he has a bunch of dangling eyeballs on him. So if you wanted to show that detail, you could. I prefer to show transparent pieces to show the eyes are like kind of glowing, but that's just me. Plus, they're also easier to come by. But anyways, that said, now that is finally complete, we can move on to his torso. Okay, so his torso kind of is in two segments. It doesn't really rotate at his base, like his wire base. So it kind of rotates halfway, like in the in-between part of his torso. It's kind of weird. But, so for the bottom half, basically all you want to do is just take a plate and then 2 layers of brick, another plate, and then a 2x2 jumper plate on the top. You can do this in many different ways to show different amounts of detail. One thing I did is I used this sort of lasso rope piece. I thought it was a perfect representation for wires since I had it in gray. Also a couple mechanical arms here work. And also a couple of transparent pieces to show kind of the eyes. You can also use white if you wanted to. So, many different ways to show some detail on him. Mix match your grays and stuff. So, get that off to the side. Now for the upper half, you want to take a 2x2 round and gray or dark gray, depending on what you have. This one has a hole in the center. Kind of a weird piece, but very useful in this case. Then a 2x2 brick. I'm using this sort of jagged, zigzag textured one again. That was a good way to show some texture there. And then you want to take a 2x2 normal plate, stick that right there, and then 2 1x1 rounds, or just a 1x2 if you prefer that, but I just like this texture. And then just to show some detail of wires, a 1x2 with a bar, and then a mechanical arm on the end of it. Kind of fold that down. And then a 1x2 with a bracket going up. Stick that there. And then this is kind of a weird piece. It's like a 1x2 with bars on opposite side. It's a little bit new, but very useful. Stick that there. On the bracket, you want to take basically a layer of plate. I'm using a dark gray and a light gray 1x1 round, or not round, but 1x1. Just to kind of show some more detailing, but you don't have to. And then a jumper plate. And then a 1x1 with a clip. And then for the bow tie, this is a T connector with 2 cone pieces. Also for the highlighting color, I'm using gold, but you don't have to. You can use orange or brown or maybe mix match colors a little bit. Whatever you think looks best. So there you go. And then a 2x2 round plate, and then 1x2 tile, and stick that on top there. And then this is going to be the connector's arms, 2 1x1 with the clip on top. There's a 1x1 plate. Stick that there, and then make a second one. Attach it right there. So that's going to give some nice articulation to when we attach the arms. Then we can take this and put that on the other piece. And now we can take this whole thing, attach that onto the base. And there you have Molten Freddy's, what's left of a torso and legs. And now those are complete. We can move on to his arms. Okay, so his arms are pretty much identical to each other. The only thing you're going to be mirroring is just which side the thumb's on. But everything else is pretty much the same. Once again, mix match the grays as freely as you wish. So, to start off, an Erling brick is really useful for making my arms. And then a cylinder brick right there. And then just another brick. In this case, I'm using a 1x1 round. And then a square piece. And another round, just like that. And then I'm using this pretty interesting technique that I learned from Brick 101. So it's an antenna base. And then you stick one on that antenna piece backwards. There we go. And then take another one and stick it on it normally. There we go. And then that basically gives a nice, cool little 1x1 joint right there. So you can stick that like so. And then building off of that, you just want to take a cylinder brick, take a 1x1 Technic half pin, and then stick that onto this. There we go. And then just take a cone piece. I'm using silver for this one, but you can, again, just use normal gray. And then for the hands, it's a pretty simple build. Take a T connector, and then a 1x2 with clip, going like that. And then 1x2 with a 3-segmented bar. And then just a bunch of white minifig hands for his fingers. And then one going right there for his thumb. And you can stick that T connector into the cone. So there you go. I mixed up the different grays on the different arms, so they look a little bit different, but for the most part, they're pretty much the same. And now you take the body and attach the arms into the clips. One thing you note, this does kind of fall a little bit, so kind of center that. That shouldn't happen as much. And then, or it can just happen some more. There you go. And then kind of just... Yeah, it's not exactly what I call the sturdiest thing ever, but it definitely works. I think it's accurate. Oh my goodness. This is annoying. There we go. So now that that whole body is complete, we can finally move on to the good stuff, the head. Now, I'm going to be a little bit honest. Molten Freddy, he doesn't have like the most complex design, but he definitely has one of the quirkier designs, if that makes sense. So, but anyways, to start off, we always like to do a little bit of a base. So it's kind of weird. It's actually a missile piece, a flick fire missile piece, and stick a cylinder brick right here. Go. And then a Technic brick going right there. And then a Travis brick going the opposite direction. So there's basically the core of his head. A lot different than what I usually make. So for his mouth, you want to start off with a 2x3 plate. and then a 2x2 plate, and then a 1x2 plate. You want to make sure it's done like this. That way you can center that 1x2 under that Technic brick. So, and then you want to take a this is a grill plate. This kind of shows some endoskeleton detailing right there. So then a 1x2 plate right there, and then two of these sort of weird angular bricks. I have no idea what you're gonna call that, but basically two of those in white, and then a 1x2 teeth plate. I'm using this tan color, but you can use white too. I thought this kind of worked better though for the shading. And then a gold 1x2 grill plate. And then you just want to take two more of these angular pieces, like so. His mouth is definitely going to be big. And then another 1x2 tooth plate. Stick that there. And then for the rest of his snout, I'm using two 1x1 rounds in gold and attaching them into a jumper plate. I couldn't find a normal 2x2 gold plate, but I also thought this just worked better for texture anyways. So stick that there. And then for his nose, I'm using a brown neck bracket. I thought brown was a good way to show some shading. Plus, it was kind of easy to come by. And then just a 1x1 round tile. Then you can stick all of that onto the front. That's a pretty good portion of his head done just like that. For his eyes, just do a 1x2 jumper plate in white. And then a orange transparent piece for his right eye. His other eye, I just like this sort of gray piece to show that's kind of blank. And put that there, like so. Top of his head, just going to be a 2x2 radar dish. And then or jumper plate, my bad. This is the radar dish. Sorry, I cannot talk today. And then a top hat right on top of there. If you saw my Lefty video, you'll know that I actually couldn't use an official top hat piece for him. I had to make a custom one using a radar dish and then a Technic axle barrel piece. So once again, if you don't have this piece, you could just do that except in black. But anyways, now that's complete. His sides, you're just gonna build a 1x2 with a bar, then a 1x1 plate underneath that, and then a cheese slope going like so, and then a 1x1 with clip on top, and then a 1x1 tile going like that. The other side is just going to be all a mirror image. Oh, and also take one of these pinch grab pieces, just show a little bit extra detail on the bottom for endoskeleton. There. Now I just take that and attach it to the sides. Something else I forgot to mention is that on this lower jaw, take two 1x1 rounds. Yeah, like I said, Molten Freddy is a pretty quirky design. So, and then finally, for the back of his head, just take one of these 2x2 sort of half round pieces. Not sure what you'd call this, but basically take one of those, and then a 1x2 plate, and then a 1x1 round plate. So you got that, and then just stick that on the back. And there you have his head, complete. Some say this is quite a bit big for a head, but I mean, honestly, I think that was a small price to pay to show some extra detailing on him, and I am proud of how it turned out. So now, finally, take this, attach the head onto it, and now he is complete. And man, he was one tough character to make. Probably one of the toughest, if not the toughest character to make. He was a really weird design, just all over, but I am proud of how he turned out. The arms seem lengthy enough and a lot of good articulation. I am really proud of how this business down here turned out. And the bow tie looks fine. The head, I think, also turned out really well. Exactly how it should. So, but anyways, that is going to wrap it up for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, why not feel free to leave a like and subscribe. I will have more characters coming out in the future. I think I have 2 more left to do, so stay tuned for those. But that said, I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.